Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast. For today, we're talking NWA Starrcade 1990. This is part one of Starrcade this week, as we've mentioned a few times over the years. We do Starrcade on the free feed. It is a pay-per-view, but it is the one that you get for free, and that's only because back when we started doing 1985, we gave that one away for free. So if you appreciate that, become a patron. More on that later. This is Starrcade 90 Collision Course that took place December the 16th of 90 in St. Louis at the Kiel Auditorium. And it was the last Starrcade under the NWA banner. More on that later, I guess. Before I throw it to Doc, special shout out to our largest patron contributors monthly, Disrespectfully Classy, Mark E. Blassie, Mike Childry, Joe Ice, good old Justin. Thank you for your patronage each and every month. And then Chris D, thanks for going annual. Actually, you were already annual, but you bumped up. So thank you, Chris. Brendan L, thanks for becoming a new patron. And Jason D, I can't remember if I got you last week, but thanks for signing up as well. Doc, I got all that out because I just have a hunch you might be fired up, but maybe not. How goes it today?
I'm fired up because it's the standard bearer flagship of the promotion. It's Starrcade 90. And as always, we're here to cover the event as only we can do it. We think Harper will be on soon. Is that correct?
Well, I texted him earlier. He gave me the no sell like he does sometimes. I just told him what the deal was, and he never responded. But I, all intents and purposes, believe he should be here. It may be even later than normal for Harper, if that makes any sense.
Well, here's the thing, and we're gonna pull back the curtain a little bit here. We're doing both part. You're gonna hear Starrcade over this week and next week, but we're recording them all tonight. Now, I gotta admit, I was a little surprised that I was asked to be here. I figured you had made the switch to Darren as the new co-host. Is that not correct?
Come on. Like, dude, I've told you numerous times. I don't know if I've ever said this on air, but I've said it off air. One time you had some stuff going on with the kids, couldn't maybe make it to the show. You were like, man, just do it without me. And I was like, nope, I'll do it later if I got to. And my exact comment was, I stay with the person I came to the dance with. So stop with that nonsense that you're saying, because I wouldn't do that.
Here, I'm gonna address this situation, and then we're gonna move on with the wrestling. So here's the deal: I don't like Darren, and from his last appearance, he doesn't appear to like me much, and my voice gets on his nerves. So I'm gonna explain to him the right way to live. We preach this every week on the air. We've been preaching this a lot lately. I don't agree with you putting him on the air, but you did. So whenever I see him or hear his voice, I'm going to do the thing that we preach to other people. I'm going to hit that gimmick, slide, delete, and move on with my life. If he doesn't want to listen to us, I suggest he do the same, but then he's going to lose his biggest platform he's ever going to have. So here's the deal. There's no more name calling on my end. He's not worth it. You're never going to hear me sell it. You're never going to hear me talk about it. It's not worth the time that I have left on this earth to worry about it. That's that.
I have one question for you. So how do you feel when there are certain docaholics out there who worship the ground that you float on? Because you don't walk. You're like Jesus, bro. You float. Actually, Jesus walked on water. Something like that, right? How do you feel knowing there are a few docaholics who have reached out to me and said, you need to give Darren a regular appearance. I've had a few even say give him his own Patreon show. But they're docaholics. How do you respond to those folks?
Do I have to deal with it?
No.
I'm telling you, I'm done with him.
Okay.
And so we say it all the time. We tell people all the time, if you don't like it, just move on. Just hit delete. Just move on with your life. In all the things we do, look, if there was a dime to be drawn, I might be interested. But since there's not, I'm done with it.
There's folks
and you don't hear me raising my voice. You don't hear me getting all upset. I'm not going to say bad words. I'm just telling you that it's over. If you don't like something in life, don't get all upset. You don't all cancel everybody. Ignore it.
Okay. So, are we gonna wait for Harper to get on? Because Harper
I
was
don't
being
think
an
we should, because
instigator.
he could.
No, no,
I
no. I'm
mean,
talking about
he
for you
might
to
be
talk to
out.
him
He
about
might
Darren.
be out. Tearing up the mean streets of Metairie.
I'm talking about because he was being an instigator.
Oh no, I don't care. We're done.
Okay. All right.
I'm ready to talk about 1990 Starrcade, which has some similarities to 1989. In
One
some of
last
the
thing.
presentation, but we both talked about it earlier, and I know you're going to go back and hit some 5 stars, but I think 90 might be better than 89, but we got to get there first. Now, you told me you had some 5-star reviews. Is that correct?
Yeah, real quick, I just want to make mention. I've heard from a couple of people who are not Docaholics and can't stand the doc, but they listen because they love the show, and they said, "Jesus Christ, a special person can actually make you appreciate Doc." I just want to throw that out there. Now, on that note, since you're letting it go, we'll let it go. And let me mention some 5-star reviews. These came on Podcast Addict, not Apple Podcast. So Podcast Addict, I got one from Greg S, 1981. Greg says, I think I know who this is, but I'm not 100% sure. So, been up listening to the podcast for a few years now, and I love it. The guys have a good knowledge of wrestling history and have a unique perspective on pro wrestling. Harper steals the show. The show is completely ad-free, which is extremely rare for a pro wrestling podcast. Keep up the great work. Greg, you are right. Very, very rare. And if you want to keep it ad-free, become a patron, because I think Greg is. I'm almost certain this is the Greg I'm thinking of. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. The only place you can listen to our 300 plus Patreon exclusive episodes, including the video versions of these. All right, we got another one, Doc. I think you're going to... I know I sent you this already, but I think you'll kind of laugh at this one. It says, 5 stars from the Vagina Wisp.
Come on.
Grow up. It says, I was done by the time Harper said the hurricane was 2 out of 3 falls in Lake Charles. Lake Charles is a city in Louisiana, and the hurricane, took its path there after taking out some other areas. So that was the 2 out of 3
That
falls.
wasn't classy. I mean,
Right,
people lost their lives, property was damaged, and Harper's making a wrestling out of it.
I mean, what's so unusual about that when it comes to
wrestling is everything, so
it is certainly everything in today's world. I mean, you and I talk about this all the time. News
you can see it in
nowadays,
all parts of life.
it's ridiculous.
What did I send you? I sent you a thing out of USA Today like last week, talking about how the current. I ain't gonna get into the full thing because I don't want everybody. We're trying to celebrate Starrcade, not divide everybody tonight. But how the current one party needs to treat the other party like it's dealing with the WWE.
So I'll say it like this: the exact title of this was the thing about and insert any political party name that the insert the other political party name have a hard time understanding is to a certain contingent of this party. It's all theater. And it literally says one political party can learn from WWE as they fight against X, Y, and Z.
It's everywhere.
Politics is actually the new wrestling.
Politics is the new wrestling, but you can get it at the church.
That's true too.
You can get it in every one of your sports.
Oh God, and then God, I hate the NBA, but they're leaning into it too even more. What's that guy's name? I saw the clip of it. The guy who whacked the dude from the Warriors in the head. He swiped at him and hit him in the head.
Oh, you're talking about when Dylan Brooks hit Gary Payton Jr.
Wrestling, just straight up wrestling angle. I mean, it's like when they broke Dusty's arm.
Well, and then the coach comes out and says, we don't play dirty. And then the next game, their guard hurts Memphis' star player. And it's like, bruh.
It's
They're just
wrestling.
cutting lying promos and then beating each other up. What's not wrestling about that?
Yeah, please tell me where we missed the wrestling, because it's literally wrestling.
The only thing they didn't do was hand them scripts beforehand.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I mean, you're onto something there. Okay, Doc. What else you got before we jump into
Well, I
Starrcade?
do want to say, in the spirit of Starrcade, and this is in all very seriousness, I don't know any particulars here, but I was listening to the Tony Schiavone podcast recently, and he mentioned that Bob Caudle was in the hospital, and we want to send our Starrcade best wishes to the Caudle family. Hope that Bob's doing all right, that he's going to kick out, and God, I hope nothing bad happens between when we record this and when it comes out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hadn't. You told me about this. Because I didn't hear it on Shivani. I hadn't heard it. I hadn't heard anything about it. Haven't seen anything about it, and I'm gonna take that as a good thing that I haven't heard or seen anything.
I
about
hope
it.
so, man. We need Bob Caudle around.
I mean, look, we always joke about how he looks no older now than he did in Smokey or Mid Atlantic. It's like he was born 75. That's Uncle Bob, though, dude.
Yeah,
Him and Dutch.
he's got
Fantastic.
he's got a lot of our history up in there
Yeah, with everything.
with
Hit It,
everything.
Smokey. Yeah, we've. I mean, if you counted it, all the weeks we've been with someone like Bob Caudle, and it's not going to end, man.
He's probably
coming in
third.
strong.
He's probably third behind Shivani and Crockett.
Giovanni, Crockett, Caudle. Well, JR's in there too, because I mean,
JR's probably fourth.
I don't know. Well, it'd be interesting to tally it up, because I'm trying to think when
that
JR
seems like
came.
a research project that, like, if somebody could actually do it, maybe you could give them like half a month off on their Patreon.
You know what? If somebody wants to do that, go. So the key is you have to go to 85 at the end of 85 with Crockett. You have to tell us, how many weeks it would have been. And Bob, see, that's the thing. Bob's not on every week though. Like he would be here and there, because we didn't cover Mid Atlantic, we didn't cover Pro, we didn't cover Worldwide on those weeks.
That's why
Bob
this is a very, very difficult thing to do.
It is. But then you'd have to tally up, like when JR comes in with the UWF, and you'd also have to tally up, okay, when Bob is in Smokey, and then when Bob leaves and is not there, and then JR is there. So it would be interesting to know how many weeks that would have been. So if
All
anybody
right,
feels
somebody
like
out
tallying
there
it and
research us and tell us about ourselves.
I'm curious. I mean, he's Bob. I mean,
you could give somebody like a half off on a month's patronage, right? Maybe a fourth off.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I couldn't like literally give him half off. I'd have to like PayPal him the half.
That seems like a lot of work.
Not really, but
I don't guess I understand how all this works.
You're as a longtime listener, Chris Sapita says, you're kind of like the brains guy. You're not the doer.
Here's the thing. You don't. All of you schleps down at the shoot job don't want the big boss to come down and mess with you, because he's not coming to give you money. He's coming to point out what you're doing wrong. And so it's just better if they don't show up. So I don't get involved. I'll let Mike run the day-to-day operations, so I can, much like Tony Soprano, free myself up for some strategic thinking.
Show up once a week
and start the NFL pool at the garbage place.
In fairness, you actually watch the programs.
I do watch the programs, and so that always, you don't have to be the fastest runner. You just can't be the slowest one running away from the bear.
That's right.
All right. Well, we're never going to get through this if we don't get going. And I see a guitar or like a triangle or something, and Sting's dumb head in it. And hey, guess what? Yeah. This is a major pay-per-view event where Sting is not the worst thing, and it's easy to feel some sympathy for him. How about that?
So let's kick it off. It is Starrcade 90. Like I said, we are at the Kiel Auditorium, St. Louis, December 16th of 90. This is the day after the previous Saturday night, which was on the 15th. So they do it the next day. Doc's not a big fan of Sting. More on that later, I guess. But you know, you alluded to it a second ago. This one to me is better than last year, but that's not hard to do. As I say that, there's some moments here that are good. I I'm trying to put it in perspective of all the Starrcades we've done, and I guess we'll kind of wrap it up once we do the end of it next week. I don't know where to really place it, to be honest, because it's just a different era. It's certainly
We have
not.
definitely switched gears on the era. That is 100%.
Yeah,
It's a new day, if you will. And boy, I looked ahead at the Clash next month in 1991, and it continues to change. I'll say that, and without giving
definitely.
away anything. But
It
here's the
definitely
thing:
does.
no matter how bad the buildup has been, and how bad we know some of these storylines are in retrospect, if I somehow scrounge together the money to be able to watch this on this night, I'm as excited as all hell.
Excited as all hell, I do agree with you. And for what it's worth, and no matter how much we've butchered, not we've butchered, how they've butchered this thing, it still has the big fight feel to it. Maybe not like 85 and 86, but it's still got a big, like it's definitely an event. Because you got, like I was about to say, you got JR, you've got Paulie on commentary, Gary Michael Capetta's a ring announcer. They introduced Sam Muchnick, who Missy escorted to the ring, and then
Hey, I got a
Muchnick
question
gives
about
a
that.
speech. Okay, let me say. Muchnick gives a speech to the crowd because they're in St. Louis, and the people are very appreciative of him. And now you can go to Missy and Sam here.
You think Munchnick is like got a boner there?
Didn't take you long. Didn't take you
He
long.
wa he kind of walked funny out to the center of the ring there, standing next to Missy. Okay, now here's another question. Do you think if you, me, or Harper would have been standing that close to her in 1990 ages, we would have got a boner just standing next to her?
I mean, you in 1990, if the wind blew a certain way,
That's what
you'd
I'm
get
talking
one.
about.
So Missy being there just puts it on a cycle of Deca or two. As far as Muchnick, so let me tell you like this. When you asked, did he have a Woody? The gym I worked out at, one of the gyms I worked out at in New Orleans before I moved to Texas, there was an old man, and this dude kind of looked like Sam Muchnick, which is funny. I mean, he wasn't this old when I remember him, but he was older. And one day he was a complainer. Like he was always complaining about stuff. If you ever talked to you, he goes, "Man, let me tell you something. You know the one thing about getting older?" I said, "No, what?" He said, "Everything gets stiffer but your dick."
Come on. Here's the thing. I absolutely love the fact that they come to St. Louis and they're honoring Muchnick. I like that. The wrestling guy in me likes that. But if we're trying to be 1990, I wouldn't put him on camera like that. This is also the point where it looked like Capetta started talking over the national anthem, which is not classy.
Not at all, and he kind of did. But there's some audio issues in this thing. We'll get to that when we get to it. Can't remember if it's in part one or part two, but there's definitely some audio issues.
So, Mike,
Well, Doc.
Mike,
Oh,
I
go
got a
ahead.
question for you.
Oh, jeez.
No, no, no. This is a legitimate wrestling question. 14 matches tonight. Too many or not enough?
I mean, you do the math for me real quick. You got 2 hours and 45 minutes of runtime. Divide that by 14.
Say that again. How long?
You have 2 hours and 45 minutes of runtime.
245 would be what? 165.
Right. So you tell me if
Divided by
14.
14 is what? 13 and a half, close to 14 minutes a match. Close, not quite.
And part of the reason why there's so many is because you got this tournament in it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
But remember, we did a clash that had tons of 1 and 2 minute matches. So, I mean, it's not the like when you realize you're doing this over almost 3 hours. It's not the worst thing.
Here's the thing. You talk about these little screenshots they have here of the stats. I thought this was a decent idea.
I've got it in my notes. I said if you've never seen Starrcade '90, they actually treat it like a sport where the wrestlers have quote unquote stats. Like we just saw Bobby Eaton's, and they show his weight, height, etc., and then a fact about him. And so Bobby, I think his fact was he is normally a tag wrestler, and this is his first pay-per-view wrestling singles. And then they bring the Z-Man out, and boy, I know wrestling's at work, but they lie all over Z-Man because they say his fact is he's got 35 match win streak.
Well, here's another problem that the first thing I thought of is now it's important to set an over-under on how many times we're going to catch something that's misspelled.
Yeah, because there's a lot more text here than just the name.
There's a lot more opportunities for error. I liked on Bobby's, it said that he's from the dark side, but that's formerly Huntsville, Alabama. I would suggest that Alabama could still be the dark side.
I saw that.
But all in all, hey, we're here. This may be, for those of you who are relatively new to and aren't patrons, we call these a lot more down the middle. Yeah, we're going to talk about Muchnick not having a Woody next to Missy, but we're going to try to up our game to be just like the announcers and treat this like a sport. So we're going to it's not going to be where we sit here and kick this thing in the shin for a couple hours. There'll be time for that, though.
Absolutely. There is times for shin kicking. We'll get to it. So with this match, as things get started, remember, it's JR and Paulie on commentary. JR tells us that Flair has pulled himself from the Doom versus Horseman tag match. Barry Windham will take Flair's place, and we will hear more from Flair tonight because we're told he is here. Paulie says Bobby isn't with his tag partner anymore because Stan started dating Yoko Ono, and the team has split. So Stanfield apparently is dating Yoko Ono, according to Paulie.
Let me tell you something. Stanfield, on his worst day, could do much, much better than Yoko Ono ever thought about being. Come on.
Look, I know this is shocking to most people and you, Doc, but for anyone who, for whatever reason, has never listened to the Smoky Mountain Show and some of Stan's early promos there, he is a freaking surgeon on the mic talking about the women in the Smokies and how they tried to put their fat, greasy, filthy paws on him.
Sweat hogs.
He is fantastic. And, to Doc's point, I'm not trying to say anything about Yoko Ono, but, man, Stanfield is out there with the top shelf, so to say. Know what I mean?
Well, when we've discussed it in the top 5 rat bangers of all time, what was he, 3? Remember that time we did the top 5 and it was me, you, and Bobby Blaze, I think?
Yeah. And
we had the same top 3 or 4.
We might have had like 1 or 2 out of order, but we had the same damn ones, which is funny because, Bobby knew 2 of them, one of them really well with Ricky Morton. And he knew Stan from SMW. It's just funny how, I've met Ricky Morton. I've never met Stan, but it's just amazing how we nailed that as a trio, how close we were to it. And, it's a testament. Look, I know this stuff isn't secretive anymore. You got all the shoot interviews and stuff, but it's just a testament to, have Bobby Blaze, who knew 2 of them well, one of them really well, to have his list literally mirror ours. And we did not, do that beforehand. We presented it on air for the first time to each other. Tremendous stuff.
I think it's right there where Eaton just threw that right hand at the 9:52 mark. Man, crowd popped. At some point, he punched him again, and the crowd popped for him. Maybe not that one. That was a hell of a right hand coming into the camera.
He did. There is a point. I'm actually trying to go to it, but it's hard. It won't let me. It was at this point right around here. So Z-Man suplexes Bobby on the ramp, and then he hits a crossbody, and we finally get a really nice reaction from the crowd. Here, let me play it. I think this is what the moment I had. My timestamps are a little off. Let me see.
Right hand, you hear it being chastised by the referee. Trying to bring him in.
Uh-oh. Z-Man has it blocked.
He blocks it.
Oh, my God.
He suplexed him on the runway. Great reversal by the Z-Man. Great strength to get under beautiful Bobby. Bring him up outside over. Now, it's no disqualification because Z-Man was on the outside. The dive over
You know, I'm not an advocate of the runway to the ring, but this one was sounding off, so it kind of almost was like an extension of the ring whenever they took bumps on it. And I'll give Z-Man credit. He got some nice crowd reaction there, more than what I'm used to. What do you think, Doc?
Yeah, I would agree. Man, I got a timestamp, but now I don't know what to do because we didn't watch the same thing.
So this one is from the drive. You've got the one from the cock, so it may be just like 8 to 10 seconds off, but it's gonna be it'll be close enough.
Okay, I got a 14:25 with a what the fuck Zinc.
14:25. So let me go to it, which would mean that it may be a little bit past that, but we can go to it. Do you need audio from it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I usually have notes if I need audio with it.
So we got a backdrop from Tom Zink. That right there?
Yeah, I think so.
Touch?
Hold on. Let's watch it and then maybe run it back.
It had to be the toe touch.
Yeah, it was. That's what it was.
Yeah. He backdrops Bobby and then he's like a damn gymnast, huh? What do you call?
Yeah, and it's like for what?
Yeah, he just jumped up the air, touched his toes with both hands. I was like, what are we doing here?
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Ta-da. So, Z-Man hits didn't look all that great, that kick to Bobby, but Bobby didn't give him enough room, if I'm going to be real serious here. Z-Man is then going to miss a drop kick off the top rope, and Bobby rolls him up and gets the win. Doc, my exact comment was, right guy won. What about you?
Personally speaking, I'm gonna agree with you, but let me ask you this. What's the theory behind, maybe wanting to get the baby face and win early in terms of, getting the crowd going?
I mean, there's two things. One is usually to open a match, you want it with some excitement, electricity. You want the guys to go out there and give a nice, quick, fast-paced match. Get the crowd going, get the crowd lathered up, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if always letting the babyface go out there and win is paramount, but definitely give them something that is exciting. This wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't the greatest opening match ever, but I think you can blame Z-Man for that. There is something to the excitement, not necessarily the babyface winning, though.
Okay. Yeah, I was more. I mean, I'm good with Eaton winning there. I was a little surprised at. I mean, because here's the thing I realized: outside of the one match that we reviewed earlier, and we'll get to in just a little bit here, I've never seen any of this. I had never seen the Black Scorpion deal.
I'm shocked because I feel like we talked about this years ago, but it's fine. It may even be better that you put eyes on it for the first time.
Maybe so. And speaking of putting eyes on something, Jesus Christ!
All right, so we go now. Tony Schiavone is interviewing Dick the Bruiser, and he will be the special ref for the Black Scorpion and Sting match. Now, we've kind of gone back and forth with this Dick the Bruiser thing. At first, they said he was going to ref the tag tournament, then the final of the tournament, and now the Sting match. Doc, do I need to play Dick the Bruiser here? Do you need to hear the audio from this to feel better about what you're about to say? That way people know you're not being too critical.
No, and here's the thing where I actually may have to back off some. Because he starts talking about the main event, but last week he was talking about the tag. It's like he's confused. But then I started thinking that may not be him. It may be the promotion that's messed this up.
It is. It's got to be because JR was saying the same thing on commentary. Like he's talking about Dick the Bruiser in the tag tournament, reffing that. So
it may be
we can't blame him for that.
It may be that I need to apologize. I'm going to have to get on a plane and fly to his grave and apologize to him.
Wow. Very classy of you to say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So before we go to the next match, Gary Michael Capetta.
Does Capetta there look like an ethnic Mark Lorenz?
No.
Okay. Because Mark Lorenz may be the whitest man of all time.
I think he is. I don't want to go on a tangent, but he stays so calm at times, but then when he needs to ratchet it up, and I shouldn't say ratchet it up, but go up to the next octave, he's very good about that. Like if you watch some of the old stuff.
I love
Remember when
watching
the
the old
Freebirds-
stuff. That's why I'm here, Mike.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about I remember the Freebirds when, they left at one point and then they came back and he's like, the devil has arrived. Like when they came back, the way he sold it, he was so disappointed, but yelling at the same time, but not screaming at the top of his lungs.
Hey, I gotta apologize for a second. I haven't been drinking a lot lately during the show, but the Mavericks are playing later tonight, so the only way I'm gonna stay awake is to get that drink on. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Get your Steve Weiser, huh?
It's a local brewery to the area. It's a Revolver Blood and Honey Citrus Blonde Ale.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Good for you. Keeping the show moving, Gary Michael Capetta, he basically introduces all of the nations, not the teams that are in the tournament coming up, the Pat O'Connor tournament, and says the team who wins will be the champion of the universe. I don't know how I feel about that name.
Better watch out for those aliens, bro. They know how to fucking grapple.
Wait, dude, I wanted to ask you a question about the the flag here coming out, the Mexican flag. Look at the hair on this woman. Jeez. How many ozone layers did she kill by herself?
God almighty. She's responsible for just large sheets of ice melting today up there at the caps, man. Yeah, what? Look, here's the thing. She's using that big blonde hair to get over the fact that in the middle there, it's not so great on her face. Imagine what she looks like today.
Dude, I ain't trying to get into a global warming discussion, but the ozone layer depletion from the hairspray that she had in her head.
There was no way that the ozone layer could kick out after that.
They couldn't kick out on. I mean, no way, no how. Don't get me wrong. The rest of them got some stuff in their hair too, but hers was extra sprayed.
How come they didn't go to the strip clubs?
Bruh, I don't know. I mean, JR, you figure he would be able to find some, Well, you could tell. Look at this, the flag from Japan. Look at the creases in it. They got that straight out of a box. Wait, I can't look. You see the crease right?
Yeah.
They unfolded.
Why didn't they just go back over to the Techwood Drive or whatever and get those flags?
I guess because it's not there anymore, or the flags were no longer there. But anyway, we've got 8 countries being represented in this tournament. And on that note, we go to the first match of the tournament. Doc,
some countries are getting represented just a little bit better than others, which we'll get into.
Yeah, so a recap for, if you're a patron, you can see it on the screen right now. If you're not a patron, it's become a patron, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT, and you can watch the video versions of these. We got the U.S., we got South Africa, Great Britain, Mexico, the USSR, Canada, Japan, and New Zealand are all in this here tournament.
Hey, here's the thing, and I'm going to get into this more later. The tournament always sounds like a better idea than it really is, and there's always a lot of excitement at the beginning. Because it's new. It's stuff you hadn't seen.
And with tournaments, remember the first one you saw as a kid? Like, remember the first time you experienced a wrestling tournament? That might have been the only one that you really, really liked. And then as you got older, you were like, this is for the birds.
Maybe.
All right. So we keep going and we get the first match. It is the United States, which of course is the Steiners, versus the South African team, who is Sergeant Kruger and Colonel de Klerk. De Klerk, as you may recall, if you're a patron of ours, I think we talked about this, is Rocco Rock from Public Enemy.
Now, you told me one time that Rocco Rock was your inspiration for getting into the wrestling business. Is that right?
I have no clue why you're making up lies right now on air. Come on.
Oh.
Come on, pal. Got that, pal. The Steiners, they don't have to do anything but throw a Steiner line in this thing, but
did you see Rocco Rock do some ECW stuff and like Rick Steiner's like saved his life by catching him?
Yes. But what are you gonna do, man? This was quick, was it not?
Well, okay. I had a note on that. It's a squash match, but it's a 1-8 matchup. So shouldn't it be? I like that.
I was about to say that because the
Why is
Starrcade fact
Brothers
for
capitalized?
I don't know. I was about to say that we're talking about the card because they are the current tag champs and they are the number 1 seed, which makes the team they're facing the 8 seed.
Yeah, so they should be able to come in and make quick work. I like the psychology there.
What are any other specifics you have from this thing?
This is going to go quickly.
It very much is, not just from us. We're talking about the match. It was like 2 minutes, maybe less. Anything specific?
No, not really. I mean, Matt Bourne, his hair looks awful.
That's not Matt Bourne right there.
Huh?
That's not. They changed it. That's not Matt Bourne.
Who is that?
That ain't Matt Bourne.
So watch Rocco Rock here.
Yeah, when Steiner catches him and saves his life.
Maybe.
Dude, that's incredible what he just did. Let me explain.
You almost died.
Rick Steiner is on the floor. Rocco Rock is basically doing a flip over the top rope to the outside where he's supposed to, I guess, take Steiner out. Steiner realized Rocco Rock, the clerk, is about to kill himself and catches him by his ankles and essentially stops him from landing hard. And then he laughs at him.
Like life preservation gag reflex you have to not have to be able to dive like that.
Yeah. And then Steiner's selling it.
Yeah.
I saw Keith Lee on the Indies catch a dude similarly like that and stop him from killing himself. Like he caught the dude like a regular person would just catch a football. Keith Lee is one of the strongest men I've ever seen in person. He is incredibly strong. And the Steiners probably make him look weak. And on that note, they're about to hit the Frankensteiner and finish this thing in like I said, 2 minutes time. That is not Matt Bourne though. I don't know what they did with Matt Bourne because Matt Bourne was on the Clash we did, right? With the South African
qualifying match.
Qualifying match, that's right. It was the I'm not trying to be funny here. It was the African final.
It was the African final against the Botswana Beast.
Yes. One of the guys was who, Doc? You remember?
No.
You don't remember the enhancement talent?
Bushwick Bill.
No, come on. I'm drawing a blank on his name. No.
Well, I'm all out of black guys. Who was it?
Big Bill Tab. That's nice.
That's right. Big Willie Tab.
Yeah, Big Bill Tab. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was on one of our clashes. You can listen to it. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. That was a clash before this one. They literally called it the African final. The continent of Africa. It was the final for them. We'll keep Steiner's advance, and we go to Rey Mysterio and Conan, the Mexican team.
It's Mike. It's Rey Mysteric.
Oh, you're talking about the graphic?
Well, and JR kept calling him that too. Hey, looky there, buddy. Don't get that camera too close. He'll super kick it.
Doc is talking about Norman Smiley and Chris Adams, the team from Great Britain, the UK. Boy. You hadn't seen this before. What did you think about these two teaming together?
Look, Chris Adams gets a reaction.
Back. Yeah. Yeah. He does.
And at this point, is going to be by far the most well-known guy in this match.
For the if you're an American viewer, what you're saying? I think
for
you
the
have to
audience
specify
at
that.
home.
Well, I think you have to specify if you're a U.S. viewer, you're 100% on the money there. Rey Mysteric, there you go.
And one in Conan.
Yeah. It sure is one in Conan. Just realize it. Looking at Conan,
a sombrero to the ring.
So Conan, I think, gets hurt at the end of this, but he already appears to be limping, to be honest with you, as he's coming.
That's what I was going to ask you, is that he was limping on his way to the ring.
Yeah, and I'm sure somebody like Meltzer or somebody reported if he was injured beforehand. I've not seen it, but, whatever. But he gets injured in the match at the end, at least so I thought. But then I kind of rewound and I was like, wait, he was already kind of limping walking to the ring. So maybe he was already limping.
Also, there's close-ups here of Conan.
Oh,
dude,
my
he's
God.
got to be on roids. His back looks terrible.
He is full of acne.
Yeah.
He's injecting something. Maybe. Nobody knows for sure, right? Not like
Allegedly.
he's the only one.
I think that's the word you're looking for. It's allegedly.
So,
I'm going to say this right now. The cameraman had absolutely no idea how to shoot this.
I don't know if I'd blame them.
Right. I mean, they had never, the chances that these cameramen had ever seen this style, this sort of lucha grappling global style, is next. I mean, it's just, they hadn't. Right.
I have to play a soundbite for you. And they hadn't seen this style. You're right. I don't know if this is the exact one. It's going to be close to it. You'll hear it. I'll let it play. But Paul Lee says something that would definitely get him canceled in 2022. Let's listen to what he has to say. It might take a second or two to get to it, or more than a few seconds.
You don't want to trade karate with Chris Adams. He's a black belt.
Adams buries the knee to the midsection of Rey Mysterio.
Wow!
And there's that super kick we were telling you about in our Starrcade stat. A dynamic offensive move by gentleman Chris Adams.
But watch out behind you. This Conan is rough. He's from a bad neighborhood. You know how his parents met?
How, Paul?
They came over on the same banana boat and they tried to pickpocket each other and they got married. They fell in love.
It's going to be a long night. You know.
JR's like, how, Paul? You could sense when it's like when I ask you something, okay, Doc, and I'm waiting for the inappropriate comment to be made. That's what happened just now. Dude, that's foul what he said. They came over in a banana boat illegally and they tried to pickpocket each other and then they fell in love and got married. Damn.
So, we've said it before. It still bears repeating. In 1990, Adam still looks great. And if he could have kept his life on track, he's one of the great what ifs for me because of how charismatic he really was. I mean, the guy in the ring was so had a draw to him. And what could have been in the big time. You know, we had that conversation one time. If David Von Erich would have lived, he'd have been like 37 when the Monday Night Wars started. What is his role? Mm-hmm. Well, I look at a guy like Chris Adams, who's, you know, at 1990 still looks great. But, I mean, can't have him going around super kicking the Make-A-Wish kids.
Well, and they brought him in he was on Nitro, and
yeah, he was in with Eaton and Regal and Taylor, with the Blue Blood.
It just never
went anywhere.
So, you know, Chris Adams is
the
dude.
Is that where he hits? Mysterio hits the stairs,
the wooden steps. Yeah. Here it is. I'll show it again. And then I'll make the point I'll make. There it is when his arm hit it. That hurt. I can tell you that right now.
That looked painful. And Smiley is great. I mean, he's obviously a technician. So here's the problem I have with this. This is, I would imagine the people there like, what the hell is this? Now, this is what we see all the time. But this really stood out by four guys who could go as a really good little match. I wish that I had more time.
Yeah, it's the problem with tournaments. You're shoehorning this stuff in.
That's right. This is the one that they should have let go 10, 12 minutes because, you know, nobody knows who Smiley is. Nobody knows who Conan and Mysterio are. But these guys are doing a credible job of trying to steal the show.
Yeah, I agree. And it's different. It's new.
It's different. Like this match, this is run-of-the-mill Monday night crap now, or Thursday night, whatever. But this stood out. There's some other things that stand out on this show too, but this is different. And this is what you want out of a global tournament. This is why you do it.
That's true. It highlights the different styles clashing, and that's why a collision course. To their credit, it kind of goes with the name. Only other thing I was gonna say about this is Adams might not have been the greatest promo guy, but he was good enough in that English accent. He was popular with the ladies.
There you
Everything else, I mean, he had down to a T.
Hey, I want to ask you something here. If this is the finish.
It is. This is it.
Smiley's like, hey, now wait a minute. What are we doing here? Watch Smiley kick out for the pin.
Mm-hmm.
So Conan's coming back for the pin, and Smiley's going to kick out. Is that considered against etiquette?
I think some lines got crossed with what the finish was supposed to be.
Okay.
I don't think he was trying to do it disrespectfully.
Okay.
Kick out. I really don't. I just don't like, because he bridges back, and I don't think Norman was trying to be disrespectful. Like, even Conan's like looking around like, wait, what's going on? And then Rey Mysterio, he does a move and hits. I thought he hit Adams on the outside, but then when you get up, he's down for the count. Like he hit something,
or
leg,
Adams kicked him right above his knee.
He's got a bruise on him.
He got a little hematoma, something.
But there was something disjointed in the finish. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that was supposed to be it. I mean, even Conan is kind of like looking around after.
I don't understand why Adams and Smiley weren't on a different part of the bracket to at least get a win. Like, I don't mind this in the second round.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, they could have done something, because we're going to talk about that Canada and Russia match that's just like, what the piss am I watching? That was diarrhea. But let's not go there yet. The last thing I wanted to finish with...
You agree that Conan is on at least one cycle there?
One. With the acne on his back, and he's jacked, dude. He looks good.
He probably left pus from those whiteheads all over the ring.
Come on. Adams, he was a great babyface. When he hit that super kick on Kevin and turned heel and with Gary Hart in the ring, crowd went nuts.
But the only reason he was such a good heel was because he was such an over babyface.
Well, he could, and he was good at both.
Like, that was right in the wheelhouse of like me being hook in the mouth kid loving wrestling and loving the Von Erichs and Chris Adams, and that was like betrayal with a capital B.
He could. What I was trying to say was he could do it all. There was nothing, like, he wasn't the greatest promo in the world, but he also wasn't bad. And his probably heel promos were better, in my opinion, but he just was. He's the dude who, here's what I think of when I think of him. Not everybody in the territories, as much as we like to glorify the territories, was made for the national stage. Would you agree with that statement?
100%.
Chris Adams is a dude who was made for the national stage. That's what the testament to that is when they're on television and they're syndicated throughout the U.S. and everywhere. Adams was a part of that. He was a big part of that, and he's just a dude that translates, and he's a part of that national stage. He looks great on national television. It's just, I mean, they tried to bring him in like for this, and then we saw him with the UWF when they bought the UWF. It just, the problem is Chris Adams the character is made for the national stage. Chris Adams the person is not made for the national stage.
Out super kicking somebody in the parking lot.
Bruh, he had issues, man. I mean, like we all
got issues, man.
But some of us are on the extreme end. So on that particular note, we're going to keep moving because JR makes a comment as they're reviewing the bracket here and, showing who won and whatnot. And actually, I want to see if I can go to it because I feel like it needs to be played. Let me hit play and see if this is it. This has got to be close to it.
Guide is standing by. Hope she's not wearing one of those atom bomb dresses. That's that 50% fallout.
And a high-risk maneuver after the bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, Missy Hyde is standing by. Hope she's not wearing one of those atom bomb dresses. That's that 50% fallout.
Did you hear what JR said?
Yeah, I am hoping that she's wearing that. Stop being a heel, JR.
Bro, JR, this is a different world, man. JR is talking about Missy's outfit, hoping she has a 50% fallout. Anyway, I just thought I'd play it. Missy is then talking to Alexander York in Michael Wall Street, and York says their computer says that Terry Taylor will lose in under 8 minutes and 20 seconds coming up in the match that Wall Street is going to have with Taylor shortly. Oh, look who's calling. Let me pick this up, Doc. It's a superstar. Hey, Harper, you there? Oh, it says missed call.
Hey.
Oh, there he is. I wonder why it said missed call. What's up, man?
I just called y'all.
Yeah, I just got it. I didn't. Did you text us? No, you didn't text us. Okay. No big deal.
I think my phone's in the car and I don't feel like gonna go get it. Fuck it.
Well, there you go, everybody. The true insides speak.
Oh, look at this.
So, Harper, just to kind of reset where we're at, we're in the middle of the International Tag Team Tournament, or the World Tag Team Tournament, for the Champion of the Universe, and now we have Missy interviewing Wall Street, we've had the Steiners win their opening match. We've had Bobby Eaton defeat the Z-Man. We had Norman Smiley and Gentleman Chris Adams as the UK tag team defeat Rey Mysterio and Conan from Mexico.
No,
I'm sorry.
The Mexican team won.
The Mexican team defeated the UK team. I'm sorry. And now,
can you run back just a little bit to Missy? I got a question for Harper.
Oh God.
If you were 13 years old, Harper, and you were standing up there on the stage with these three people, would you have got a boner standing next to that close to Missy in 1990?
Oh yeah.
See, I told you, Mike.
I tell you one thing. Speaking of stupid blondes, what about that fucking corrections officer woman? What the fuck? Oh God.
She kind of threw it all away right there, huh?
Yeah. And she was about to retire.
Oh, God.
She was about to retire.
I mean, that's the dream.
She ended up being in freaking Raising Arizona. With fucking Nicolas Cage.
You've seen that, right, Mike?
Yeah. I've seen it. Minimal long time.
This is, bro, when you see stuff like that, it's like, okay, this reminds me that women can be really fucking stupid. I just don't get it, bro. Like, who is that lonely? It's like this broad can't go to a fucking country nightclub and find some goof.
Women can always drag something out of the bar.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You want to deal with this inmate?
Well, he was 6'9", so maybe he had a third arm hanging off.
And not only did she kill her career, but
she killed her everything.
Yeah. I mean, let's say she didn't basically kill herself. She got arrested. Then what?
She goes to jail, but at least she should be familiar with the setup.
That's true, huh? It's like giving the fucking Ukrainians Russian tanks from Poland and something. They already know how to fucking drive the fucking things. Jesus
We've
Christ.
just gone from local American politics straight into geopolitics.
I just can't. I just don't know what was. This woman was about to retire and just live out the rest of her days doing whatever the fuck she wanted.
Well, maybe that scared her and she didn't want to retire and they were forcing her to. Have you thought about that?
Well, then go do something else.
Well, that's easy for you to say, but maybe she didn't feel like she was validated as a female enough to do anything else. It's a hard
she
world
could
out
have
there.
done something else. She could have go worked at some other law enforcement agency. If that's the case, I mean, shit.
Auburn ain't happy.
Just think if you're about to retire and just be able to sit around, do whatever you fuck you want. And like, you know what? I'm going to make national news and bust this guy out of fucking prison, and we're going to go run around the country, and they're going to find us in bumfuck Indiana, and then I want to try to kill myself, and then I want to even fuck that up.
No, she did. She ended up dying.
Yeah, like a day or so later.
Well, I mean, sometimes it takes a while.
Jesus Christ. What the hell's wrong with these goddamn people?
I mean, he's on to something here, man. Like, did she just all of a sudden become mentally ill, or has she always been that way? Like, what's the?
It's like if she didn't want attention from a man or have a significant other, go to the fucking local bar and find some goof driving a fucking 2005 Silverado. They would have fucking loved to be around your ass.
And women can always have a couple of beers and punch up in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
dudes just want a warm. They just want a warm place to park their dick for a little while.
Yeah, they just
wow, that's nice.
I was doing just fine until Harper showed up, and now look at us.
They just want a nice little dick holster.
We were talking. We were breaking down the wrestling, and then he showed up.
Yeah, looks great. What is this called?
Starrcade.
No, the international champion of the universe.
It's the Pat O'Connor tag tournament, but the winner is going to be crowned the champion of the universe. Literally, that's what they said at the beginning of it. That's what we were talking about.
I'm more curious as to where Lord Littlebrook is.
That sounds like something. He went back to the fucking Smurf village. Fucking Gargamel fucking got his ass.
Gargamel.
So do you want to set this up at all, Mike?
This match?
Yeah, you should probably tell the people.
Harper came in hot. Well, we go to the next match. It is the next tag match in the tournament. It is Jacko Victory and Rip Morgan. So, yeah, the New Zealand... I'm sorry, the royal family. They are billed from New Zealand, though.
You don't call them... Bro, if you're calling it yourself the... What is it? The fucking tag team champions of the universe?
Yes.
But you better have some motherfuckers who fucking look like E.T. in this shit.
I told you, maybe the aliens had a good ground grappling game. You don't know.
And either it's the fucking UK or Mexico.
I mean, actually, Doc did say that when we were getting started. He was like, so we need some aliens in this if they're the champions of the universe.
Right. I mean, you need fucking Greedo from fucking Star Wars, bro. Call them the international.
There might have been something intergalactic. There might have been something intergalactic living in one of those pus balls on the back of Conan's back.
Harper didn't. He may see it when we get to because they won, so they'll face the Steiners. Yeah, Harper.
But this is like the fucking muscle. Remember the little muscle guys? They were trying to be the champions of the universe. Those little pink things.
What?
Huh?
Remember those toys from the 80s?
Those little... I never had those. I know what you're talking about. What were they called?
They're called muscles, and they're supposed to be intergalactic wrestlers, and they're trying to be like the universe champion. They're all from different worlds.
Yeah, but what were they actually called?
They're called muscles.
Is that what they were called?
Yeah. I used to have a whole bunch of them things.
Of course you did.
Right. So I got a question.
Okay.
Is Muda out there still thinking about Starrcade 89? Because he ate a shit ton of pins a year ago.
So those trying to say who was in this match. It's Jacko Victory and Rip Morgan, the quote-unquote New Zealand team from the royal family. Yeah, I don't get it either. Versus Mr. Saito and the Great Muda from Japan. Muda is back. Now, remember, as Doc is pointing out, this is the same Muda that got shafted last year at Starrcade. Paul Lee says he had a suspicion that Muda may have been the Black Scorpion, but now he doesn't think so.
I thought that was an interesting point, although why would Muda sound like that? But I thought that was interesting that Paulie said that. Hey, I got something else. Saito is 48 there.
God damn.
And was the AWA champion earlier in 1990.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you can take on Darren.
I don't know if he looks 48. Does he look 48? And then you can address Harper's statement.
I can't address it because I'm never addressing it again.
Oh, okay. Well, Harper missed the opening when
That's not my problem.
Yeah.
Doc said he's not addressing D-Man again.
I tell you one thing. If I was Muda, I would have told him to go fuck off. I wouldn't have showed up to this shit after the way y'all fucking treated me.
You don't know how much he got paid.
That's true.
Uh-oh.
What?
Exploder.
There's a finish. 1, 2, 3.
See, he got his win back. Now he just needs 2 more.
Yeah, now he just needs 2 more and for like 6 months.
Bro, has anybody been ever done worse? I mean, of course so, but went from TV champion to pin 3 times in one night. He was
I don't know, ask
undefeated.
Doom. They didn't do so hot last year at Starrcade either.
Yeah, but they got their comeuppance after the fact. But I hear you. It's terrible. Ugh. Okay, Muda and Saito win, and we move on. And then Muda and Saito cut a very quick promo, and Mr. Saito states they aren't afraid of the Steiners if and when they get to the Steiners.
It's just fucking dumb shit.
Now, Harper did join at the right moment because the next match may be the worst match in pay-per-view history.
Oh my God. I don't know. We've seen some fucking stinkers.
Bruh, you have never seen at this point, and I'm fast forwarding, we're not going to listen to the promo. The next match is, Harper, let me get it out before you jump in. Troy Montour and Danny Bull Johnson, the Canadian team, versus Victor Zangiev and Salman Hashimakov. So, bruh.
Which one of these is named Bull? I assume the big Indian fella, huh?
No, I think Bull is the dude with the jacket.
So the guy dressed up like an Indian doesn't even have an Indian name?
Sir,
No.
He's an indigenous person, okay?
He's
Not
peoples.
the
This
Iowa.
is Canada. They're first peoples.
They're first people, yeah. First Nation, or what do they call it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. God bless
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I'm insulting these people when this guy comes out dressed like a fucking...
They'd have been better off bringing in Iron Sheik and Bill Irwin and saying that Bill Irwin was newly Iranian.
bruh.
Okay, these guys don't look bad.
Just wait till you see him in the ring.
I don't think they understand pro wrestling.
No. Okay, let me get this out because Harper's gonna just start cutting promos.
I
on
mean,
this
they
shit.
look real.
Yeah.
So the Soviet team are legit amateur wrestlers,
Oh,
and
God.
the one Russian with the balding head, he's actually hairier than Dutch Mantel.
Oh.
I don't know what the piss is happening during this match, and we're gonna get to that shortly. But this thing ends up when one Russian belly-to-belly suplexes Danny Johnson and the ref counts a pin. This is probably up there with one of the least entertaining matches in the history of at least pay-per-views. I don't know what the hell was going on here. I don't know. Look, I get you needed a Russian team. You wanted a Canadian team because you wanted to do this tournament. But this is... I don't know what I'm watching.
Fuck.
This is dark match.
This is not dark match. This is
Holy
independent
shit.
wrestling. Guys having their first match. It never needs to see a television or YouTube or Facebook.
Why were the
Live.
Russians baby facing on the way to the ring, waving at the crowd?
Bro, I don't know.
I mean, it's 1990. We ain't friends yet.
Almost. I mean, fuck, we're not friends now. Isn't that crazy
Well,
how much
we had a
the
little
bitch just flipped
period
the
in there.
script?
We had a little period in there where we were friends.
Oh, it depends who you talk to. But anyway, I don't want to go there.
I'm going to say this. Canada's not sending their best.
Okay, I don't want to fast forward through this. I need.
There you go.
Think about all the Canadian wrestlers in the world, and this is the 2 that are here.
Yeah, the guy that looks like he's, from a John Wayne Western, and this other guy.
Doc, do you want to try to describe? I don't know how to describe this. It's
My
like,
next note that you've already talked about is I said that's a hairy Russian.
Dude, he looks like American Werewolf in London. Like when he's changing. Like the Howling or something.
they don't know how to sell. They're
Bruh.
amateur wrestlers.
Even
just got
from a
kicked.
distance.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He legit has a coat.
He got a coat, but he don't have hair on his head. He's balding,
No.
but it's growing elsewhere. I mean, Dutch is
I
actually.
mean,
Right.
he's got the
hairier than this guy,
haircut of a 8th grade gym teacher.
Yeah.
But look at him. He's
Oh, yeah.
working.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy's an amateur wrestler.
but okay, well, watch this. He's an amateur. They don't know. This is not a pro wrestling match. It's like they get in there, and they just have an amateur match.
I mean, you can tell by the way he's locking up. Oh, bitch.
He tried a belly to belly. Damn, it dropped him on his head.
So when have we let guys not being from Russia stop them from being Russian?
I don't know. I mean, what the hell?
Where was Ivan Koloff right now?
That's what I was about to say. Where is Ivan Koloff?
Where's Ivan? I mean, I know where Nikita is, but even if you don't want to bring in Nikita, you can get Ivan and somebody else.
Yeah, call up, I don't know.
Vladimir.
Yeah, or... I mean,
Boris
Nikolai
Zukov.
Volkov was...
Call on Boris.
I think Boris Zukov was still
What's
in
the guy from AWA? Usted Soldat Ustinov, or you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They could have brought in Crusher Yurkov, which is Bam Bam Bigelow, dressed him up.
Come on.
No, it's a joke. I don't mean that. But
No, I had to explain that to the boy the other night watching Young Rock. He goes, I thought that was Bam Bam Bigelow. I was like, there's levels to this shit, bruh.
these guys, they just have an amateur match in a pro wrestling ring. I don't know how else to describe it.
And they have it with two guys that aren't prepared to have it.
No.
That's the other part.
And
We
I
haven't
don't
seen
even think those two guys are prepared to have a professional wrestling match.
They look like two guys that got pulled out of the local bar and said, look, you're from Canada.
And that guy looks like a dollar store version of Ron Bass with the fucking horseshoe on the tights.
Yep.
My note here was the crowd got sleepy.
They're watching these dudes. They're actually watching these Russians throw around these dudes like their amateur wrestling match. Because notice how this is the third time it's happened. One of the Russian guys gets the other guy on the ground.
God.
Bro, do you see the? Okay,
Shit,
hold on, Harper.
Jesus.
Well, I need you to comment. I'm gonna go back to it. This is the third time one of the Russians has taken down the guy with like an amateur move, and then they just lay there because it's like they don't know what to do next. But the worst part about what we just saw, and they get kicked and they kind of no-sell it because it's like they don't know what they're doing as far as pro wrestling goes. And then I'm sure these guys are great shooters, don't get me wrong. But then this was the part in the match when I was like, what the hell? I guess Danny the Bull Johnson, I don't know if I'm getting them confused. The guy who's supposed to be an indigenous person, he comes in and boots. He boots that's right. He boots the Russian guy. And then he tries to like do that Tatanka dance.
Right.
And he
Like
damn
the
near
war
busts his
dance
ass. Like, look, he rakes his eyes and then watch, he almost falls.
Yeah. Oh God. They all look like they work at Ace Hardware.
Then the Russians are the managers.
Yeah.
They don't look okay. Oh, and I forgot. That was the finish.
Yeah, the finish was terrible.
I forgot. That was the finish. Harper, this is the finish. Right here. Because watch the ref. 1, 2, 3. He counts to 3. And then he counts again because he's like, I don't know, is it over? And then he goes, yeah, it's over. And then that's when the little Native American fella comes in to do the war dance, rakes the eyes, but it's over. The match is over. Look. The Russian team, nobody knows what happened.
So at this point, I would like to take a second to point out the fact that Brian Pillman is not on this pay-per-view,
Oh, God.
and neither are Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong.
But we got these four.
But these
shitheads.
guys made it onto the show.
Not only made it on the show, but the team from the USSR, because I keep saying Russia, but the USSR
Soviet Union.
is moving to the second round to
We get to
face
see
the
them
team
again.
from Japan.
And what did
Again.
what did the USSR stand for? What was it Union?
Of
The
Soviet
United
Socialist
Socialist
Republic.
Soviet Republic.
Yes.
And then what did the CCC something?
That I don't know.
We looked that up
Corrupt
years ago.
Communist cunt party.
No, we looked it up. I can't remember what it was.
Looky here.
So we go to Sting, who's cutting a promo.
And he's got a
And Flair.
suitcase that's from like 1975 up there.
Let's go to Sting and see what he's got to say as he gears up for the Black Scorpion.
Sting of the Black Scorpion. And Champ, how you feeling about all this right now?
Well, Tony, all I have to say is who would ever believe that something like this would have happened if you look at the whole Black
Exactly.
Scorpion scenario from beginning to end? Who would ever thought that something like this would happen in the sport of professional wrestling? But one thing I know, here in World Championship Wrestling, anything and everything can go, so I'm not going to run away from it. I know that. Only one thing I do know is my head is very, very clear, and I know exactly what I need to do. A lot of people said, Sting, you haven't been Sting lately. But I got news for you. Sting left maybe for a little while, but Sting's back now. Sting's gonna find out who the Black Scorpion is once and for all. And those of you who know me, you can look into my eye and you can tell by the tone of my voice that I mean what I say. I will find out who the Scorp is tonight, Tony.
All right, that's it from the world champion. Back to Jim and Paulie.
God.
Doc.
No.
Everything
No.
he said was true. Who would
Yeah.
have thought this would be happening?
No one could have predicted this.
Right. I mean, he's not wrong. Who would have saw this dumb shit happening? That's what he should have said.
Oh. Yeah. I guess he's right. Nothing like recaps in a pay-per-view. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Well, WWE does that today to the max. So we're
It's
gonna fast
awful.
forward it.
I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm here. Obviously, I know why I'm here.
Well, Michael
What
Wall
building
Street.
Is this?
Which what?
What building is this in?
The keel.
Is Kiel Auditorium
And as
in
we
St.
find
Louis.
out,
That's the
they're
one in
tearing
St.
it
Louis.
down.
Oh yeah, that's that
And-
really old, like a municipal auditorium type building.
No,
And-
it's bigger than that.
No, no, I'm saying like age wise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and JR tells us that this is probably the last major wrestling event in this building before they tear it down.
That goes to
Kinda
show you they got the building cheap.
Probably did. Wall Street is about to take on Taylor. Before the match, they show a replay of their conflict that we just saw, which was on the Saturday night prior to this pay-per-view. And, the one thing about this, I give them credit. They got this thing going hot, and they didn't waste any time. You got two guys with bad blood, and they're not going to sit there and have a stupid conversation or allow the ring announcer to do formal introductions. It's on and popping from the beginning, which is kind of how it should be.
These
That's-
stats are like it's like on the back of a fucking trading card.
Yes, we were talking about that when we first started. They kind of actually do an okay job with it for the most part, but some of it is kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'll give you an example. Like Wall Street's here. He's ranked 7th in the world, featured recently in USA Today. He's the first wrestler to use computers to prepare for bouts. Administrative
God.
assistant Alexandra York is a computer whiz. That's his stats.
Was he really in the USA Today?
Hell no. you
Maybe.
Ah, they could just make up shit, huh?
Bro, you could
say
just,
anything.
you
It was
could,
in Sports Illustrated.
These
last
aren't the
week.
droids you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, they could tell people they were a 5-star football player at Delgado Community College, and nobody would know
Hey,
the difference. You wouldn't be able to
Because I
Google it.
was.
Yeah, of course. You could just tell
Turns out-
lies, and nobody cared.
Go Dolphins.
So remember, the clock here is because it was predicted by the computer that Wall Street would win in under 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Not exactly 8 minutes and 30, but under, according to the analytics. Doc, I'll throw to you. What do you have from this match?
I understand why, based on the lead up, that we have the clock. I don't like the clock because it's distracting to me.
It is very distracting.
I mean, you got to do something to show the time. I mean,
It was also at this point in the card that I realized, one of the things that we talked about, Mike, at the last, I think it was the last Clash, if not, it was Halloween Havoc, that Paulie was too hyper throughout the whole card.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I feel like he's laid back a little bit more on this show and found a better rhythm with JR here.
He has. And speaking of Paulie, he says something here that I think we need to hear during the match.
Okay.
Here it is.
Up and gives himself a little breathing room as Miss York comes over, and once again they change the game plan, and you can change it. You can change the game plan all you want as long as you beat Terry Taylor within 8 minutes and 32 seconds.
She's very snooty in my book.
So don't date her.
She should have plastic surgery and have her nose lowered. Really got her head up in the air.
I'm sure Missy Hyde could recommend a good plastic surgeon.
Arm bar.
What's that mean?
Damn.
Well, she's all natural, isn't she?
Just so you know, from what I remember, Paulie amps it up with Missy in 91.
Well, they're going to have a match soon.
Yes. Yeah, they have.
And then she's going to come in and make out with the Sandman a couple of years later in ECW.
But Paulie with a stiff shot right there.
What an asshole.
Remember the old days? That's a shot.
That's a shot. So, okay, I had that timestamp. Doc, do you have anything from this one? They had a good match. I don't want to
It's a good match.
This.
It's not going to be a 5-star classic when these two guys wrestle, but it's also not going to be terrible because both these guys are pros.
And after coming off that tag match, I mean, these guys created the freaking Mona Lisa, essentially.
No shit. They did what was needed after that.
I mean, imagine following that. Normally you don't want to follow something hot, but they followed something that was just one of the worst things you could see on a pay-per-view ever.
Imagine, what do you say, when you, after the match and you go into the back? What the fuck are they going to tell you? What the fuck was that?
So that was good, but what we would like to see next time is a little bit more of the fakey.
I hope to God it wasn't what you see on indie shows, Harper, where a guy could have a terrible match and everybody in the back.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was
good job, brother.
Yeah, it was good.
Good match,
Yeah,
brother.
Good.
You didn't even watch
gave
it.
them what they wanted.
Good.
Yeah.
If you ever want to see people lie, just go in the independent dressing room.
Well, don't ask Luke how your match was, because he'll tell you.
He might be one of the only ones. Everybody else is brother. It's just, Jesus, Lord.
It was good. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, brother, it looked great.
Yeah, well, who won? You did, huh? No, I didn't. I lost, you asshole. You didn't see it.
All right. Well, Wall Street hits the stock market crash, and he gets the win. And it was right around, I guess, the 7-minute mark, slightly over. So the analytics worked on this one. Doc, any other thoughts?
Always trust the analytics. You can plan your life by it.
You really can. All right, so they do show an ad for Wrestle War 91. More on that. That will be on February the 24th. Look at Sting.
Sting's dressed for war.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I had to rewind it because I wanted Harper to comment on Sting right here. Look at Sting.
Boy.
Also, how are they going to draw in Phoenix, Arizona?
I don't remember how they drew.
How are they going to draw freaking anywhere? I don't want to go to the Army again.
To me, they do some good things to get to that, but I don't want to. There's things I'd give away, so I'm gonna leave it alone because it's not.
I can't
terrible
imagine 1991 is going to be better than 1990.
Yeah,
no, it. I think it's better because somebody comes back.
Dusty.
I'm not saying anything, but I think it's better. Now, look, it's all relative. When you say you think it's better, it ain't us saying, well, we're gonna go back to 1986 and 85, and it's gonna be hot at the 6th, baby. And they're gonna they're gonna be crawling from the rafters, baby. They're gonna so many people.
No,
what's
but
Ricky
you're
Morton
gonna
say?
lose.
So many
You're
goddamn
gonna
people that
lose,
hang
Rick.
from rafters.
This is when Steamboat comes back, right?
Not
yeah,
yet.
at one point. Not now. But they do, like, they're gonna do some stuff that's I'm not saying.
Well, speaking of awesome in 1990, why don't you get us to what's next? Jesus Christ.
I was waiting for Harper to comment on whatever the piss is that Sting has on his shoulder strap there.
He's Commando Sting.
He's got big old bullets. Was this around Desert Storm?
Yeah,
sure.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Well, there you go. America.
You
we'll put a food
in
in your ass. It's the American way.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of the American way, WCW goes to the Motor City Madman in the Big Cat. They are going to take on
Ivory, bruh.
They're going to take on the Skyscrapers, which are Sid Vicious and Danny Spivey. And boy, this doesn't take long. It starts with all four guys brawling. And I thought Night Stalker was supposed to be out there, but they say Sid took care of Night Stalker the previous night. Man, this thing lasts like a minute. And
but they're all heels, right?
They are, but you got to remember.
If you listen to the crowd.
If you listen to the crowd, the Skyscrapers were over, even though they were heels. And the crowd is just like, okay, these dudes look awesome, and these dudes don't look awesome. And like you always say, Harper, Sid looks like he stepped out of a Marvel comic book.
Yeah.
So we got to give him the props that we need to give him. They're trying to show the stats. Literally, it gets going. It's under a minute. And they're going to the stats here when the ass whipping starts. So, Doc, I'm going to throw to you.
What biggest ham on tonight's event? What the fuck did it say? Pause it, Mike.
I just did.
Biggest ham on tonight's event, a power match with little finesse. Both like to utilize the backbreaker. Biggest ham on today's event. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. I can't help you.
I'm trying to think, like, what did they mean to say? Biggest ham.
It's off and popping, bruh.
My
yeah,
God,
we don't know.
Huh?
But we do have a match here where things are going off. And the Skyscrapers are going to make quick work. I think we got about a minute here before they end up pinning Motor City Madman and hitting their finisher on him. And we're done. They do cut a promo after. And Sid tells Paul Lee, well, we'll decide if we'll make this a one-time thing. No one else will make that decision for us. And actually, I think that's the last time we'll see them tag, at least to my memory, as I can recall. It ended up being a one-time thing. They were heels, but the people cheered them baby faces. And that's that. Doc, any thoughts on this going exactly like it should, as much as I'm not a Spivey fan?
No, I mean, there's so many. This is Swiss cheese logic.
I mean, this was just a job match.
It was a job match with a guy who's a horseman, but he's a skyscraper. There's two heel teams in the ring. The crowd actually liked it, but again, always ask yourself, what do people know?
Yeah.
This was
I got nothing.
A lot in a minute.
This is the team that needed the win. It's just that they're not. It's like a spectacle.
I don't understand what the Motor City Madman's deal. Why did they spend money to go shoot that vignette with Paulie in the pool hall if this is what they're going to do?
Because WCW, that's what they did.
Nah.
It's where the big boys play.
Yeah. Trying to make logic out of stuff that just there's no logic. But I hear you, because I kind of do the same thing. Like, what's going on? All right, well, we'll keep moving. The next match is Tommy Rich and Ricky Morton with an injured Robert Gibson, who is on crutches with his knee.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes. Yes, he was still banging with the knee.
Well, that wasn't my question. Do you think by this point, it was close though, so we're right there. Do you think at this point in the injury, he's figured out how to navigate that big brace to bang rats?
Harper, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, fuck, all he's got to do is lay there.
Okay.
She
I mean,
better
it
not-
wasn't. It
You
was.
just can't move around too much.
We were all in the same spot there. Okay. I mean, that's groupthink at its finest.
You can't kneel. That's for damn sure.
That's what I'm saying.
You
All
can't.
he can do is lay there. Like a fucking hardhead catfish.
Harper, you have to explain. You got to explain that, man. I don't think people.
What? Oh, they know what a
people-
hardhead catfish is.
I don't think people not from a coast of some sort would like.
Well, Doc knows, huh?
I don't. He probably doesn't.
Do you?
No, he's never fished in his life, or if he did, it was a million years ago. And he wasn't fishing in salt water.
Oh, well, it's a saltwater catfish that you don't, that like most people don't eat. They just throw them back. And they got these fucking sticker things that if you don't watch it, they can fuck you up, man.
Sting the piss out of you, man. And they literally have a hard head. I mean,
Right. They got a hard ass head. That's what they call hardhead catfish.
it's like a brick. I mean, yeah.
My dad used to tell me this story. He swore up and down this shit was true, but fuck, I don't know. There was this old, oh God, there was this old black guy was fishing by the lake, and he caught a bunch of hardhead catfish, and he put them in like a burlap sack, and he threw them over the shoulder, and they stuck him in his back, and he ended up dying from it.
I don't know if I believe that one.
Fucking-
I do believe if you had enough of those barbs in you, you could die.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would take way more than a guy flinging a burlap sack
Right.
across his back.
Right. I used to always be like, yeah, right, this should never happen.
Have you seen someone get stung with one?
I've
I don't
seen
know.
them, bro, you don't want that.
Dude, my cousin got right in his hand,
Yeah,
in the
bro.
palm of his hand, he was trying to take one off the hook, and it got him. And man, I thought he was dead. I thought he was gonna die the way he was screaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, you don't. And then he got stung the next week. He was kicking one off the deck, off the wharf. He kicked the motherfucker. 1 week from the day he got one in the palm, he kicks the bastard. It shoots up in the air and lands in his thigh.
Where were y'all fishing at? By the lake?
Nah, we were down in St. Bernard Parish,
Oh,
like
Dallas Row or something?
Wyclosky and Hopedale and stuff.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I used to go down there all the time as a kid. Doc is bored out of his mind. He's like, "What the fuck? These freaking Cajun idiots."
I think he left.
Did he? No, he's on. He's still there.
I was gonna go piss and then I didn't, so I wish I had, and now I'm.
Well, you'll be able to piss in a second because this is the last match from part one.
Okay, so is this the match we reviewed a couple of years ago?
Did we talk about Little Richard Marley during this match?
Yes,
I think we did.
They came out with the Confederate flags. We did like a Patreon or an interview of the week or something with this, and I thought this is insane.
I think we just kind of went through the opening, and the part that shocked us at the time is because we hadn't watched it yet. The whole Little Richard Marley thing, because you have Hayes with the Confederate flag, and
they're all
they've got the
rebel
robes.
flagged up, man.
They're rebel flagged up. They got the robes. They got the face paint, which we've seen the face paint before on pay-per-views and clashes. But I think the thing that sits it over the edge with this is, and at the time we hadn't really watched all the venues with not venues, but the vignettes and stuff with Rocky King, which kind of makes it worse. I know that sounds crazy, but it does make it worse because there's context to it that we weren't thinking of at the time. And the rough part here is we've talked about Rocky King, but then Rocky is, I hate to say it, he's dancing and just, here it is.
What's up?
You know who he looks like?
Oh God.
Remember the fuck was, I think it was called the Brown Hornet from the Fat Albert cartoons.
Yes.
I'm gonna stick with Otis Day from Animal House.
Like the fucking, you remember like he was the black superhero?
Mm-hmm.
That's who he looks like. I think it was called the Brown Hornet, right? Something like that.
I haven't watched it in a million years. I don't remember.
So this is actually the first wrestling match of the night.
No,
And I
it's
thought the
not.
crowd was with it because of that.
Z-Man and Bobby Eaton was the first match. And the first
Wrestling.
technical. Okay, wrestling. Fair enough.
This is Memphis-style Southern wrestling. Look,
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
he's
Yeah.
spanking Richard Marley. This is workers working.
I did read somewhere recently, this angle or time period, Rocky made, I think what he said, decent money. Like it was his most notoriety and money.
It was definitely
So like Eaton and Zink had a good match. But this is a wrestling match. That was a wrestling match. The crowd liked this because they hadn't seen anything up until this. This is match number, 7, 8? They didn't see anything like this yet. And so it not only do Morton and Rich and Garvin and Hayes all professionals at this, no matter what you might say, Mike, they're good at this style. And so is this going to be a Meltzer 5-star classic? No. But at its position on the card, I thought this got a really good reaction and was a really good match for what it was.
It was. I do have to ask one question. Harper was about to say something about Rocky King and getting paid well before I go to the finish.
Yeah, no, I'm saying this is probably his best payday by far ever.
Yeah. That's how he made it sound. I mean, it was the most notoriety he got, which is kind of sad. And he got paid well according to, I believe, what I read.
But
now,
if we're going to let Garvin and Hayes come out in Confederate face paint, we'd have been better off getting rid of either the Russians or the Canadians and bringing out the Southern boys and saying they were from the Confederacy in this World Tag Team Tournament.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was thinking the same thing.
Ain't gonna hear no argument from me. So in the finish, we got all 4 guys fighting in the ring. Rocky King.
Come on, Rocky.
Morton actually had Garvin rolled up. Hayes is working on Morton's leg, and Little Richard is on the top rope. Richard Marley, he's about to hit Morton, but Gibson hits Garvin. I'm sorry. Get it out. Not Gibson. Richard Marley hits Garvin in the back accidentally, and we end up with a pin here. And then after the match, I don't like what they do. He's choking Rocky King right now.
Hey, let me tell you something. When all else fails,
blame it on the black guy.
Blame the black guy. See how Harper and I went to the same place?
Blame it on the black guy.
Wow.
That's it.
If your football team's got a black quarterback and y'all start losing, y'all know who's at fault.
That's right.
I mean, just listen to the local sports radio.
It's ridiculous.
There's crab legs or loose women or something's in the way.
Bro, tell me I ain't lying, bro.
It ain't it's supposed to be.
Dude, it's like, I agree, bro. You get these callers who call in, it's like they cannot focus on the dude just either had a bad game or he's not a good quarterback. It's got to be, he don't have it between the ears, blah, 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 which
he's
is the
got
biggest
7
crock of horse
kids
shit ever.
by 6 women.
Bruh, don't get me started on that. It was bad in New Orleans during the Aaron Brooks era, and I ain't defending Brooks. He wasn't a good quarterback.
Hey, if you need to go 8-8, he's your guy.
Yeah.
Bruh, it was bad.
Remember Jeff Blake?
Well, that's the thing. Blake never caught it because Blake got hurt and Brooks took over for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he never caught it in New Orleans. Let me say that. But Brooks just made bonehead decisions on the field. Don't get me wrong. He didn't make bad decisions because he's black. He just wasn't a good quarterback. Like, he was average. What do you want? But these people who call in, let's be real, you don't have it between the ears, brother. That's a class. That's a
nice.
freaking classy, unprofessional way of saying what you really want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Anyway.
He went to Virginia for college.
Anthropology degree.
And he got one of those Indiana Jones degrees.
Yeah, anthropology, I think, was his degree.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Before we close out part 1, Stan Hansen cuts a promo. He tells Luger he's coming for him, and Luger ain't taking the U.S. belt from him. Doc, anything from the promo before we wrap up part 1 and move to part 2? Maybe he went and took a piss. So he probably did. And on that note, let me just, I was saying.
What are we doing?
We were about to wrap up part 1 here.
Let's wrap it up. Hit the tagline.
Do you have anything from Stan Hansen as he cuts a promo talking about his match that he's about to have with Luger?
No.
All right.
And I feel bad. And in all honesty, I feel bad for Rocky because he was getting some publicity that he deserved.
And they turned on him. Blamed it on him.
Man, you got to watch out for them white people, man.
Typical Caucasoid move.
Hey, Mike, we're your buddy until we're not.
Typical Caucasoid move.
Don't trust Whitey, and if you get it, see a doctor.
Okay.
Remember that from the jerk?
No.
Okay.
So, need to take care of some business real quick before we wrap things up on this particular week. First off, Harper's still doing videos, so make sure you go to... I got to pull it up, Harper, first. So first, you got to email him, chrisharper16wildcat@gmail.com. And then when you email him and tell him what he needs to cut your video, shout out, relationship advice, want him to cut a promo on someone, then you got to PayPal him $20 to cc30388cc@yahoo.com.
I'm going to do one Thursday. I mean, by the time they hear this, they're already going to have it.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. So he's churning them out left and right here for us. And then we're going to get out of here. Remember, become a patron. This show is free because we generally do Starrcade for free. Maybe one day that'll change, but it won't be now. So become a patron at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Don't forget to use the Amazon Associates link at tinyurl.com/BTTAmazon. A great way to support the show. If you're, if you're shopping on Amazon, the wives, girlfriends, side pieces, whatever you have in your life, tell them to use it. Bookmark it like Mikey and DFW said to do, or JBL Objective, tinyurl.com/BTT Amazon. Appreciate it when you use it. And check out our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murad and Michael Quinn. The northern version of BTT, slightly classier, definitely more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us, please support them. And check out the Bottom Line Cast with Mike Prue and JV as they cover the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin on their free show as well. On that note, it's time to get out of here. We're going to shut down the episode for this week. Harper may have something before then.
I got a question. Was the South African team 2 white guys or 2 black dudes? I'm just curious.
Doc, can you answer that?
Honkies.
Wow. Keeping it classy on the way out the door.
That's nice.
One of them is actually Rocco Rock from Public Enemy. They called him Colonel de Klerk. Colonel de Klerk and Sergeant Kruger were their names.
Oh, boy.
Definitely white guys. Caucasoids. All right, Harper, we got to go do part 2 now. So why don't you hit the tagline and get us out of here?
Book it, bitch.